married high school teacher Heather Hare has been jailed for 13 years after she SA'd a student as many as 30 times. According to a press release, Hare engaged in S activity between 20 to 30 times throughout the 2021 to 2022 school term, including multiple times at her Conway residence, in her vehicle, and in her classroom and parking lots at Bryant High School. Hare met the younger person on the first day of senior year and started one-on-one counseling sessions with the victim. Over time, she provided her personal phone number and began communicating with the student on social media. She also reportedly told the victim that she had dreamed of them having S and gave them her home address. This is the last known photo of Janet Johnson. Johnson and another climber, John Cooper, died under mysterious circumstances while climbing Aconcagua, the highest mountain in the Americas, in 1973. This picture was discovered on a roll of film in Johnson's camera, which was found on the mountain in 2020. Creepy Things Hidden in Photos, Part 4. You'll notice the arm extending from Muscle Mag over to Esquire. Someone wearing heavy black eyeliner is getting their peep on from underneath that top bunk mattress. You'll probably see it right away, but read the 4 enlarged letters at the beginning of each column from left to right. You'll probably giggle a little. This happy mother's head is placed perfectly over the A and the R in parents. Creepy Things Hidden in Photos, Part 6. First, you'll notice how the guy holding the cup has strategically placed his thumb. Next, you'll notice the super realistic profile of a human face on this elephant's ear. Then, you'll notice this young kid isn't the only one catching up on sleep. There's a grown man, looking fairly discreet, resting his eyes to the right of our subject. Finally, this optical illusion blends a haunting kid into that first tractor wheel. The Morbid almond water pool is said to be haunted by the spirits of those who drowned there. The water, once clear, turned dark and murky, and locals report hearing eerie whispers and seeing ghostly apparitions near the pool at night. The haunting tales and tragic history make it a chilling, morbid location. In 1962, a Cuban boxer named Benny Parrett made fun of his opponent, Emil Griffith, for being a homosexual. Griffith ended up beating Parrett so badly that he fell into a coma and died 10 days after the fight. In 1977, the University of Evansville men's basketball team was involved in a tragic plane crash. The crash killed every player on the team except for one man who didn't make the trip due to an injury. 2 weeks later, that only remaining player was killed by a drunk driver. When Theo Von was born in 1980, his dad Roland was 70 years old. Theo says he was always afraid to develop a relationship with Roland because he knew his dad would die when he was at a young age. His father ended up dying in an accidental shooting incident when Theo was just 16 years old. British man Andrew Haig was sentenced to life in prison after beating his 50-year-old neighbor to death with a bag of Pokemon cards. The two had gotten into an argument after Haig's neighbor accused him of being a pedophile. Kimberly Clark Saenz, also known as Kimberly Clark Fowler, is a former Texas licensed practical nurse and a convicted serial killer. She was convicted and received a life sentence for murdering 5 patients at a dialysis center in Texas by injecting bleach into their dialysis lines. This horrifying act of betrayal in a place of healing shocked the nation and highlighted the dark potential for abuse in medical settings. These are some of the distress calls that were painted onto houses during Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Many refused to evacuate their homes because they weren't allowed to bring any pets into sheltering areas. The Category 5 hurricane ended up taking the lives of around 1,400 people and 500,000 pets. Albert Einstein encouraged President Roosevelt to develop an atomic bomb because he feared the Nazis would make one first. But he deeply regretted this after hearing about the devastation of Hiroshima, and knowing that his discoveries led to the invention of the atomic bomb made him very depressed. These shocking images from 2022 captures two high-rise construction workers in Iran enduring very strong winds just moments before being thrown 100 feet to the ground. Sadly, neither man survived. One worker died instantly, while the other was resuscitated at the scene, but later succumbed to his injuries at the hospital. In August 2012, 83-year-old Martha Short tragically fell to her death after mistaking a pedestrian escalator for a shopping cart-accessible one at a Nashville grocery store. This footage captures her final moments before the fall. She was taken to the hospital where she died from her injuries. Tragic footage captured the final moments of 26-year-old firefighter Rustam Nakibov just before he jumped from a balcony of a tall building after becoming trapped by huge flames. He lost his life attempting to save another man who was also trapped and sadly perished in the deadly fire. Andras Toma was the last World War II prisoner of war to be released. Toma was captured in 1945 and later locked up in insane asylum for speaking gibberish. However, in 2000, he was accidentally discovered by a Slovak who recognized he was actually speaking Hungarian. After nearly 60 years, Toma was successfully identified and finally returned home in 2000. He died just 4 years later. Tragic footage from April 2024 captured Liu Jie's final moments before he jumped off the Yangtze River Bridge in China, following a breakup with his girlfriend, Tan Zhu. The day before his tragic death, Liu Jie reportedly transferred about $9,000 to his girlfriend's account. Throughout their relationship, Jie is said to have given Tan over $70,000. Liu Jie's body was discovered 12 days after he jumped into the river, and he was cremated on May 3, 2024. This is an iconic photograph of the notorious crime duo Bonnie and Clyde sharing a kiss, shortly before they were killed in a shower of gunfire in May 1934 during a police ambush. On December 6, 2014, 19-year-old Jessica Chambers was found walking down the side of a road engulfed in flames. A flammable liquid had been poured on her body, up her nose, and down her throat. She died the next day at a Memphis hospital. One suspect who emerged in the case was Quinton Tellis. However, following two mistrials in 2017 and 2018, Tellis was sent to Louisiana to face trial for the 2015 stabbing death of Ming-Chen Hsiao. Tellis previously pleaded guilty in 2016 to illegally using Hsiao's debit card and received a 10-year sentence as a habitual offender. The longest prison sentence handed down by a court is thought to be that received by Chamoy Thipyaso of Thailand, who in 1989 was given a jail term of 141,078 years. Thipyaso had been involved in a pyramid scheme that defrauded 16,231 people out of an estimated total of between $200 million and $301 million. Courtroom footage from May 2024 shows the moment Adam Montgomery was sentenced to 45 years to life for the murder of his daughter, 5-year-old Harmony Montgomery. Police believe Harmony was killed nearly 2 years before she was reported missing in 2021, and her body has never been found. Cartel assassin Enrique Elizondo Flores was arrested in January 2012 after confessing to killing at least 75 people, many of whom were travelers that he and his thugs plucked off buses. Many of these murders occurred while he was looking for members of the rival Gulf cartel. Flores was known for torturing, maiming, and then killing his victims. In ancient times, some of the scariest and most morbid ways to die included being executed by crucifixion, where victims could suffer for days before succumbing to dehydration or asphyxiation. Another gruesome method was scaphism, where the condemned were trapped between two boats, force-fed, and left to be devoured by insects and vermin. Impalement, where a sharpened stake was driven through the body, often resulted in a prolonged, agonizing death. Lastly, being burned alive, used for accused witches and heretics, remains one of the most terrifying and painful forms of execution.